Hey guys, welcome back to the channel. This is once again Jay
And tea.
and this is our introduction to KDP book publishing. So you're going to be learning how to create your first low content book. And yeah, let's just jump right into it.
So before we start, we'd just like to ask for you guys to make sure to subscribe to the channel if you're getting any value from it. Definitely engage with it, leave a thumbs up. It's been pretty hard to come up with all this information for you guys, so we'd really appreciate it.
So once you've designed your book cover, saved it as a PDF, your interior is complete, and you have your title and keyword research, you're ready to upload your book. So you're going to go back to Amazon KDP and it'll bring you to the home page once again. Now, I can just show you really quickly that your books are going to belong under here when you start to create them, under your books. If you have ebooks to upload, they'll be here. But yeah, we'll be uploading a paperback book. It's your first book, I'm assuming, or one of your first few books. So we're just going to keep it simple and do paperback. So make sure to click it, and I'll give you a quick walkthrough. Here's where you're going to enter all of your book details. So your book title, just to let you know, your book cover needs to match the title of your book. You can't put anything here that you didn't put on your cover. If you write something different in this section, it'll be rejected by Amazon because it'll say that it doesn't match the cover. So make sure that they always match. You don't want to waste your time by having them bounce your book right out of review. That's incredibly frustrating. So get it right the first time, and you won't have that problem. Next, you'll have the subtitle section. It says optional, but with low content books, I'd say never leave this blank. Your book's discoverability depends on keywords, and this is a good place to add more, but once again, do not keyword stuff here. You just want to add extra details about your book that might appeal to the customer. So you could say, good for students. You can tell them the amount of page numbers in your book, the trim size, any detail that you think a customer should know before buying your book, you can put it here. And you should also make sure that these are highly searched long tail keywords as well. We're going to skip series because we're not writing a series just yet. If you will be making several editions, you can add the edition number, but if it's just a one-off book, if it's just to practice uploading to the platform, then yeah, go ahead and skip that. You're going to put your author name here, and I should tell you that you can use your own name, but you can also use a pen name, or you can also use a brand name. Ideally, you want to think ahead when deciding on a name to use because you can always brand your books and then go ahead and start a Facebook page, an email list, a website. Branded books do really well because the author appears to be an authority in their niche. So branded books seem established, it seems like the author is knowledgeable, it seems really professional. So one way to go about branding is to create a brand for every main niche that you publish books in. So, for example, you may sell self care books, like self care journals, for example. Some might be geared towards meditation, some might be for prayers, and some might be gratitude journals. But they can all be under the same brand name called like Me Time Academy, right? Also, you may want to create pen names for books that all fall under the same brand. So, for example, if you are in the language niche, you may want to have a pen name for when you publish your Spanish books. You may want to have a different pen name for when you publish your Japanese language books, but they may all fall under a single brand name like Smart Academy. One thing to keep in mind when creating brand names is to avoid naming your brand after sub niches. This is a huge mistake. This is a mistake I made in the beginning. Don't do this to yourself. You want to instead use names that refer to the main niche. This is so you don't end up pigeonholing yourself into a specific topic like knitting. Like, let's say you call yourself Kathy Knits. What are you going to do when you want to make your book on sewing? It doesn't quite work, and you're in the crafts niche. A better pen name would have been something like Kathy Crafts, right? This is true for low content books, but it's especially true to keep in mind for high content books. When choosing a main niche to write in, focus on a few niches at first, maybe one or two, It may be tempting, but avoid jumping all over the place. You don't want to be publishing in every main niche at the same time. It can be really overwhelming. When you have a collection of books under one main niche, under one brand, it helps you to become an authority in your niche. People recognize great books in a niche written under one brand, and they'll view you as an expert above like random authors who may only publish like a single book, right? So, yeah, in the beginning, don't worry about this. I'm going way too far ahead. This doesn't apply right now. We expect you to try out different niches and just get a sense of what works for you, get a sense of what's most profitable. Eventually, though, it's a good idea to narrow it down and dominate sub niches within a niche with like quality branded books, but that's another lesson for another day, okay? One last thing that I will add about branding, however, is that once you decide on a main niche or a few main niches and you have branded your books, you can further establish your brand by building an email list with excited readers who enjoy that niche. Email lists are a powerful tool because they help you to quickly gain reviewers and buyers for new books once you launch them. Amazon notices when a book is launched and then it has a whole bunch of people leaving reviews, it's getting a whole bunch of sales, and it boosts those books in the Amazon algorithm, which helps you to create even more sales. So that should be an eventual aim of yours. If you do want to be in this game long term and make long term sales, eventually you can even end up upselling the people on your email list different products. It doesn't have to be books. It can be anything from services. Perhaps you have programs you're selling. Maybe you have merch. Maybe you have clothes. Maybe you have toys. You never know, but the opportunities are endless. But make sure you capture your readers into an email list so that you have a chance to establish a longer business relationship. So that's just something to keep in mind. But yeah, we're going to move on. You can add your author name here, any contributors. If there's no contributors to your book, then you can go ahead and skip that. And then we're going to get into the description. Many people fail to realize that having a good book description is one of the most important parts of publishing. This is your sales pitch. It doesn't matter if you have a beautiful cover and a high quality interior and spent a bunch of money on advertising if you tell your potential customers next to nothing about what they can expect to find in your book and who it's made for. So, keywords in the description, I need to say it here, they don't actually get indexed by Amazon, but they do get indexed by Google, and they show up in Google search results. So, this area is essentially sales copywriting. It's actually crazy to us that most of the books on Amazon don't have very detailed or well thought out book descriptions. I'll just show you a quick example. Now, this is not to say that they didn't do a good job describing their book, but you can see that it's just kind of a big paragraph. I found a different book that has a better example of what your descriptions should look like, something closer to what it should look like, anyways. Putting effort into your book description will immediately help you to create more sales. See how they explain like what's in the book. They explain things like the page number, the size of the book. All of these things are interesting little tidbits that a buyer is interested in knowing before they buy a book. Remember, they can't see it, so you have to explain what your book looks like, what your book's about, who it's for. Book descriptions should also include features or highlights of your book, which can be done in bullet point form. So explain who the book's for, add headings, and make your paragraphs like split them up, make them shorter if you have a lot to say. If you want, you can add a blurb or an example from your book. This is normally done for high content books, to be honest, especially fiction, but you can do it with low content books as well. I've seen it done. And also be sure to add a call to action at the end. Next is the publishing rights section. So you will click whatever applies to you. Is your book public domain work, or do you own the copyright? And then from there, we're going to go to keywords. This section also claims to be optional. I don't know why they're lying to you, but they're lying. Never skip the keywords. Fill them all out. They're back-end keywords, and they do get indexed by Amazon. So yeah, definitely take the time to do some keyword research. Make sure you're putting profitable keywords in the section. You may only see 7 spaces, but don't only put one word in each space. you want to put long tail keywords here, which are several words someone might type in when searching for a certain book. So, for example, I'll just use a high content fiction book as an example. You wouldn't just put romance in one of these tags, you'd write like single dad romance book, so that you don't have to have your books subjected to as much competition as a one-worded keyword. That's why we're adding long tail keywords, to really narrow it down to the type of book that you are advertising. And next we have the categories section. So here it says you can choose up to 2 categories to place your book in. And then it also explains why categories are important. We can go ahead and read that. It says, a browse category is a section of the Amazon site where users can find your book. Think of the browse category like the sections of a physical bookstore, so fiction, history, and so on. You can select up to 2 browse categories for your book. Precise browse categorization helps readers to find your book, so be sure to select the most appropriate categories for your book, and I honestly can't say it better myself. I will say to note that not every category on the front end of Amazon is in this section for some reason, but just do your best to find what you think would be the most appropriate categories. The next section is called paperback content, and the first thing you're going to see is print ISBN. Now, to comply with industry standards, it says all paperbacks are required to have this unique number assigned to them. If you don't have your own, which you most likely don't, then you'll just simply click here and you'll get a free one assigned to you. So the next section is publication date. You can see that this is one of my older books when I was still dabbling around, not really taking the platform very seriously. But anyway, you're going to leave this blank unless in the future you're releasing a book. So now we come to print options. You can choose the type of interior, and it doesn't really matter which one you choose. They don't really differ in price. But you cannot change your interior and paper type after your book is published, so that's really important to note. You're going to choose your trim size next, which is the size of your book. Again, it can't be changed from the size of your cover that you already made. You have to keep it consistent. You can decide if it's bleed or no bleed. You can decide if it's glossy or matte. I personally tend to prefer the glossy covers. It just feels more like high end, but it doesn't really matter. It depends on the book and what you're going for and everything. And then we come down to the manuscript. So you're going to click this button and you're going to upload your paperback manuscript. And then the next section is all about your book cover. It says, we recommend a book cover for a good reader experience. I don't really think you have a choice, though. I think your book needs a cover. You can use their cover creator to make your own book cover, or you can upload a book cover that you have designed or that you have paid someone to design. And they actually have a whole section here. If you choose to use their cover creator, you can choose your design and everything. So you can go through that. I think what makes their cover creator really cool is that you actually are given a back cover along with your front cover, and there's even the spot for the barcode, so there's no guessing games that you're playing. You don't have to like design your cover outside of Kindle and then hope it all fits inside. Like, you just click on these, you can write whatever you want to write, and the words get smaller, don't worry about it. You can delete this if you don't have an author photo to add. This is the back, by the way, guys. And for the front, and they've already determined your spine size of your book, so they do it all for you in the program. And so if you only have a book cover that you've designed or that you've paid someone to design for you, and you don't have a back cover, then just go into this section and click on the cover. You can get your cover from your computer and you can upload it right here. I did want to show you guys that this is a possibility and you don't have to design everything outside the platform. They make it so easy. And you can read the guidelines if you need to as well. So I'm going to go back because I don't need this section. When you finally uploaded or designed your book cover, then this section is going to be yellow and you can click on it, and it basically allows you to preview your book from start to finish, so from cover to cover, and see the inside, make sure the interior is looking good, make sure that nothing's getting cut off, and then you can just go ahead and approve it. Save and continue. So the final section is paperback rights and pricing. So you're going to click all territories for worldwide rights because we assume that you have all the rights. If you don't, then you got to read up on that and you'd click individual territories. Most of the time you will own all the rights, however. And then you're going to go to pricing and royalties. So I have a book here that's $11.99 and I get 60% of the royalties. But that's minus, oopsies, that's minus the printing cost, which is $2.88. So my royalties per book end up being $4.32 USD. This book that I have is also in expanded distribution. When your books are in expanded distribution, it says it reaches more readers by distributing your paperback through bookstores, online retailers, libraries, and academic institutions. Now, you only get a cut of 40% royalties, and then that's minus printing, so you end up getting only $1.92 for your book in total royalties, but your book is being bought in bulk, so you can still make a lot of money. And it's up to you. You can choose to use this program, you can choose to put your books in IngramSpark instead. I will say expanded distribution is a little vague since it doesn't tell you the exact platform your book is sent to. Like, for example, your book may go to Barnes & Noble, but not all of them may appear there. And if they do, your royalties will be quite small, like I showed you. We've made a lot of money with expanded distribution. We actually don't mind it, but we understand that you leave a lot of money on the table when you're not applying to Barnes & Noble's, the website itself, and submitting all of your books there. Same thing with IngramSpark. If you choose IngramSpark over expanded distribution, you have more control over your royalties, meaning that you're keeping more of it, and you know exactly where your books are going. So take the time to read up on the pros and cons, and decide your financial goals and the time you're willing to spend, and make an informed decision about how you want your books distributed. You can read the terms and conditions. It says it takes up to 72 hours for your book to be available for purchase on Amazon. That's because they're reviewing it. It normally does take that amount of time. It can take longer during the Christmas season where people have had their books in review for nearly a week. It's happened to us and it sucks. But yeah, anyways, when you're all done, then you just click this button here, publish your paperback. Congratulations, you've just finished publishing your book and it is good to go. So that is it. That's a really quick rundown of how the creating and uploading process goes. Don't worry if your first book or your first few books are not huge sellers. Don't worry if they don't make any sales. As you get more used to the platform and book creation, you can make more complex books, and then that brings in more money.
You have reached the end of the Introduction to KDP Book Publishing course. We hope you've gained some knowledge and that this inspires and helps you to get started on your KDP journey. It really is a great opportunity, guys. If you ever want to take this business to the next level, dive deeper into the industry, learn how to make more money, and even learn some of our personal favorite methods, like how we were able to make over $20K a month, how we were able to write a higher content book that made $1,000+ in its first month, etc., then you definitely want to subscribe for more advanced trainings coming soon. And to show our appreciation that you made it this far, make sure to sign up to our mailing list, and we will send you a cheat sheet to this course just for your patience and for your stick-to-itiveness, because we can tell that you're serious.
We did work hard on this training for you guys as well, so if you did find some value and appreciated our efforts, please leave a like. Feel free to post a comment, let us know if you have any questions, etc. And we'll do our best to answer them in the comments below or even in a future video. And yeah, we'll see you in the next one.